Good morning, permaculture peeps. It's dawn. It's dawn on Eden of Myth Permaculture Homestead. And here I am just near the pond outside of the house. I'm going to walk over to the pond and you can see the different animals there and maybe show you the frogs and turtles. I don't know if the turtles will be out yet because it's not sunny yet and they like the sun. Frog saw me and he hopped away. I don't want to talk too much because then they'll stop making their sounds. So now I'm on the island inside the pond. We have a bridge that we built to this little island. Call it Duck Island because we had ducks here, and we will again. My neighbor is taking care of our ducks now on her property because we won't be here full time for another year. And when we come back full time, we'll get those ducks back and get some more ducks. Over there is where we like to sit in the evening and listen to the frogs. You just saw a few of them, but at nighttime, this whole pond is just non-stop croaking. They're constantly trying to outcompete each other with a louder croak and a deeper croak, depending on their territory. I'm going to finish walking around the pond and probably will scare up a few more frogs and toads as I finish, since they don't like to be disturbed. I also showed you the groundhog hole right here. That's one entrance. Mr. Groundhog has a couple entrances. There's one also underneath this bushes, hedge. We have a hedgerow on this side that's already grown up. So there's one entrance over here underneath, and then there's another one. You might be able to see it under there. So we'll continue around the pond. And as I said on the other videos, You can see the path here, which will be a woodland path, and these trees growing up. Some of them we planted, and some of them are coming up now on their own, since we're not mowing the center areas. Just some paths through, so you can see, oh, froggy. You can see here that there's some trees we planted. We planted this persimmon here, but some of these other trees are just coming up on their own. So we're going to mulch around them and give them some space. This big cedar bush, it's huge. It's one of those bushes that people plant out in front of their yard that aren't supposed to get big. And this one's huge. And inside here is where all the squirrels live. They come in and out of this bush. So their nest's in here somewhere. They feed off in the distance there, right there. You can see there's a big black walnut. So, and then we have another black walnut. It's not quite as big as that one. And the squirrels eat all those black walnut nuts. It sustains them. And here's another persimmon. And we're coming up now on a pawpaw. I don't know if you've heard of a pawpaw. It's a native of Maryland, a native fruit tree. And, but you can't get the fruit anywhere. But we're growing it here. We have several trees that we've planted now, let's see, 3.5 years ago. I'm going to show you the fruit. So the fruit becomes like a large, a bit as big as a large mango, right there. So this is just developing. And this is the first tree we have that's fruiting. You can see we have another path here. More trees, another pawpaw. This is a black locust. That's a highly regarded permaculture tree. It grows very fast. It has many purposes. This is a new one here that's come up on its own, but we have the one here that we planted 3.5 years ago, and you can see he's getting pretty big. It goes way up there, all the way up there. So, and this tree and the rest of the black locusts we've planted are bringing lots of offspring, because you can see here there's a little black locust that we didn't plant that's coming up on its own. There's some more over here. You can see in the distance right there. There's three black locust trees that are coming up on their own. I'm not sure which tree this is. I moved this one here 3 years ago when it was a sapling. It was a sapling about that big, and I moved it here. And I think it's a brown birch. I think it's a brown birch. I have to check. This is a pear tree, the one right in front here. And I'll show you some of the pears. We usually get quite a lot of pears. This one's not the most productive pear tree. There's another one that's more productive. You can see some pears there. So, Wiz makes pear cider, which is really good. It just tastes, he uses a champagne yeast, and so it tastes like champagne. It's really good. And here you might be able to see inside where the squirrel nest is. The squirrels are usually living in there. I'm probably freaking them out right now by coming this close. But they'll just stay still. They won't run unless they're in the open. And there's the biggest cedar we have on the property. I'm thinking this cedar here is probably 400 years old. There's a couple of old cedars that are aged in China that I've gone to see. And due to its circumference, of course we're at quite a distance, but we'll get under it in a little bit and you can see the circumference of it. It's got to be quite old. They grow very slowly, and this one's huge. We have some flowers coming here on their own. These weren't planted. They just are coming in all by themselves. Try to see two more favorite trees before I finish this video. See, there's more black locusts there. See those two trees coming in on their own? Now, if we had mowed all of this, if we had mowed it this spring, all of these trees wouldn't be here, and I'll show you some more. So, there's no sense going out and buying trees. I mean, you can if there's specific trees you want. But there's a lot of places to get trees that you don't have to purchase. There's the Department of Natural Resources often has trees. Different arboretums in the area have free trees in the spring. And then you can just let them go to seed if you don't mow all your grass. So all of these trees in front of you here, let me see if I can count them. All of these have come here from their own seed, from the seeds of the other black locusts. So they all need to be staked, though. I'm going to have to stake them today, especially in this heavy rain. So you can see here, this black locust, he needs to be staked. See how the rain is just, doesn't have enough support. Now people have different opinions about that. Now whether you should stake them or not, because some people say that if you stake the tree, then your its root system won't be as strong. And then others say, you know, that the trees, if they need support, you should stake them. And then there in the background, I don't know if you can see, there's two black locusts, which are probably the parents of all these trees. And those were just planted 3 years ago. They just grow so fast. They must be 30 feet high now. And they just grow so fast, and the wood is very useful. Oh, there's the house. This is the front of the house, the front side, and that big black walnut right there. Oh, I hear rain. Looking back at the pond, you really can't see it from here because it's got vegetation all around it. And here is one of my other favorite trees. And you wouldn't believe this. This tree is very big as well, especially for the kind of tree it is. It's a dogwood tree. It's a red dogwood. And dogwoods are they're like a small ornamental tree. This one really has, I'll show you its trunk so you can see really how big it is. This is an old dogwood. So you can see from my hand and its circumference. It's pretty wide. It's, especially for a dogwood, it's maybe 2 feet in diameter. Oh, it's starting to rain. It's been a very rainy summer. There's been flash floods just a little north of us in Pennsylvania, and a lot of people are not doing well. Here's another angle of the dogwood. And over there in that hedge, in the distance, That's where all the rabbits live. So the squirrels live in that big cedar over there. Cedar shrub. It's not a shrub. And then the rabbits all live in here. There's a rabbit warren underneath this hedge, and they come out from there. You can see them in the morning once it gets sunny. We don't see them actually as much because of allowing the grass to grow and these trees to come up. We don't see them as much as we have in the past. Well, I'll come out on the lane and then I'm going to end the video. There's another big cedar here that through the winter, I guess it was snow damage. Here's our lane down to the main road. Yeah, see here this split? But it seems to still be living, so we're going to leave it. Oh, some doves. I think I woke them up. That one looks injured.